Hello, hello. This is With Wisdom, Embodying Energy, Embracing Seasons. And we are approaching the end of July and coming together to give you a special announcement from our side. Hello, Sam. How
Hi,
are
hi,
you?
Gabby. Lovely to see you. Love your orange, fiery top. I can see you're
Yeah.
representing the fire season. I think I'm representing the ashes here.
You are
This you
representing.
can't see the color very well, but this is burgundy rather than black. So
Ah, well, that's
burgundy.
the balance of their yin and yang, no? But
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
fire is a
yes, yes.
maximum yang,
Yeah,
and if
I'm
it
going for the yin.
Yeah, for the water, the maximum gym, which they are complementary and necessary in each for each one of them to be the best part of themselves.
Yes, I thought I put it on and I thought, well, is that a little bit dark, Sam? But I'm not feeling dark, but I just felt like it's also something I've made, and so summer for me is always about sewing. I have that as my sewing season, and so I'm going to be embarking on some sewing in the next day or two. And so
Uh-huh.
it feels kind of appropriate to wear something that I have sewed whilst I'm doing sewing. So yes, that's why I also put it.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always I admire very much people that could do or craft things with their hands. I can craft things, but it's more words.
Oh,
That's what
you
I
can craft
craft.
plenty of things. I'm sure
But
you can
but,
cook.
but not like this kind of very crafty things. It's not my talent.
Not yet. Remember, we
I
always
don't
have to
know.
go the not. Come on, we're both coaches. Not yet, not now, but maybe.
Who knows? Yeah, but at the
Exactly.
time I'm fine with that. I
Yes,
appreciate people
yes.
that can do that. I don't need to do everything in this life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, actually, as a crafter, that's something that I've had to learn. That there are many crafts that I love to do,
Hmm.
and I can do, but there is a sort of I've learned with and I kind of relate this to the seasons as well. So I've got particular things that I kind of favor at different times of the year, but I don't need to be learning how to do glass blowing all the time. I don't need to know how to dye all the clothes and all the wool and all the, I don't need to do fabric dyeing. I don't need to do I know I've just did a workshop on Japanese calligraphy. I loved it, but that will be enough for me. It's like I don't need to then do that as well. So it's learning to say what's enough and what really is resourcing me. Because remember, this is our with wisdom is around embodying energy, embracing seasons. So in terms of the embodying energy with crafting for me, is finding those particular things that I do with my hands that resource and regulate and refresh me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be everything because otherwise you just get a little bit scatty.
Yeah, and that's kind of what a fire can do. It can be very
Mm,
scattered. So the fire season, the summer season, it's on one hand related to what you were saying, all these having passions and having, yeah, passions and liking do things. But if it's in unbalance and you don't listen and you don't have the balance of the deep waters, you get scattered because you think I can do many things or everything is exciting
mm,
and you get interested in many things or yeah, since I can do it, I should do everything, and that's
mm,
something life journey for me because I'm in my constitution apparently, and I can like live it and sense it. It's very very fiery. I'm wood
mm,
energy, both of them, which is a beautiful thing. On one hand, wood allows me to have all this creative and imagination and connection with the otherworldly and the dream world and
mm,
writing and all this stuff. And the fire is something that helps me to use my voice, to connect with others and to do. But the downside, and that I have also experienced in myself, is that I get so excited doing many things and connecting with people that I forget that I am, although my soul might be limitless, I am a limited human
yeah,
being
yes,
that has a certain amount of energy and time and duties and all this stuff. And
absolutely. I think we're very similar. I'm a wood dragon. The fire and the woods all together. It absolutely. I love meeting new people. I love being in community with others. I love, the work that we've done has been incredibly resourcing for me. But I also, as you hinted in your intro, there is a little bit of a something that's happening with us with wisdom. We sort of, I think, in the last couple of months have been hinting at different things. So we started, I think, the new year with we're writing a book,
Yeah.
and we had this brilliant idea, and the idea is still there. I think it's there. We're holding it, but for the moment, that idea is not going anywhere else for the time being. And then I did a little solo view, which many people didn't watch, but it was around about us having a slightly different format for the channel. And in that period of time, it's almost like we were thinking out loud when we were putting out those videos of something that was coming that maybe we weren't able to voice at that moment.
Mm.
What do you think has come up, Gabby?
Well, first of all, I think it's beautiful that people can like witness. I know it's
Yes, I agree.
most of like standard way of conveying messages is like saying everything when you are already sure, and then we get
Yeah,
a wrong impression like everybody has everything figured out. That
yeah.
was
Well,
an
that is not the
impression I
case with us.
yeah, but I don't think no one has anything figured out. It's just some people are a little bit better to keep in this process for themselves and not like leaving it
Yes.
outside in the world, which is okay. Each person is different. But my gift to the world is that we can witness how one has good ideas, intentions, passions, interests, and want to make something out of them. But then for me at least, and what we are going to share today is this like process of trying to find the right configuration and the
Yeah,
right form of
yeah.
yeah, the things that you find exciting, the things you feel. I feel called to communicate. I feel called to show to the people all these imperfect or these alive processes. But
Mm,
also, at the same time, I am a mother. I have to pay rent and all. So we have a human life. As I said, I am limitless soul, but I'm living in a human dimension, and we have duties and things. And that's also a wisdom of the fire. When you get
mm,
to deep listen, is yeah, you can do many things, and but it's a sure way to burn out, which I experienced myself
mm,
already in the past, and I have a tendency to do, and slowly, or I don't know if slowly, and learning to this continuous process of saying, okay, yeah, all these things are very wonderful, but how much I can like really focus on. That
mm,
has been part of this process people might have witnessed through the months with us. We are both, I feel, very passionate about what we create together here, and I feel we create things that are of value. I receive messages from
mm,
people that watch us and that watch the conversations we have with others that add value and are appreciated, and that also it's part of what keeps me going. But on the same time, we have also our own projects or our
mm,
own like things we need to fulfill in life. And after like trying to see how to configure all that, we have come, or I need, especially me in my life and a stage in my life where many of my experiences of past years and learnings and all these things are integrating and taking the form of a more concrete way to generate income for keep sustaining my life and keep taking care of my son. And
right.
I have,
Before you talk about that,
yeah.
because I think it's absolutely that kind of just saying this is what I need right now is so often not said,
Mhm.
particularly by women. You know,
Yeah.
I need to do this right
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
we will give and give and give to
Yeah.
everybody else and everything, and you know, we'll slice up that that essential time and feed it out to other people.
Yeah.
But what you said is so so important. Right
Yeah.
now, I need to do this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially because I just touched on something. I think, yeah, most of us women, we are used to be in my mind and in my programming, saying no and putting energy into the things that are keen in a certain moment for my survival or forever.
Mm,
I had in my programming linked that to be selfish.
mm,
And many of
yeah,
my
yeah.
life experiences, and as you said, we are seeing there's like an archetype in some of the cultures where like a mother or a woman or the oldest sister or whatever, we are praised when we are sacrificing. No, there's this
Mm,
like
mm,
a very romantic image, like, oh, you're so good because you're sacrificing, and now I'm realizing how much of this like. Archetype or role, or also the warrior woman, no, like I took on these roles, like I can do things and people were like praising me because I was so strong and I am so self giving and sacrificing, that it's a new thing for me to say. Yeah, but it's also important, like all the time they tell you, not you need to take the mask first, or the oxygen mask, before
and
you
put it
help
on
someone.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it that from my brain, but it's in your body. It's ingrained, or it was ingrained in my body, and for me, it's a huge thing nowadays that I can more and more say, "Hey, yeah, I like all these things, but I really need to take care of this that are my like
Mm.
core."
As you're speaking, I'm thinking, okay, this for me is um, um, the roles that we can take. And I don't know, you may have heard of these. And I'm just going to just quickly kind of we talk about the Stephen Cartman dreaded drama triangle. So
Mm-hmm.
we can go between being a victim, persecutor, and a rescuer. And I think everybody does this.
Yeah.
It's not just women, everybody can flip between these little roles. Oh, poor me. Oh, what the hell are they doing? And being the persecutor voice, or, oh, I can do that. I can do that. I can help, and saying yes to lots of stuff. And we
Mm-hmm.
flipped all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of antidote to that is the empowerment dynamic. So when we notice that we're in victim, we go into creator. We switch ourselves into creator. So what can I do? When we notice ourselves in persecutor, we can switch ourselves into challenger. And if we notice ourselves into rescuer, we switch ourselves into coach. So rather than giving and supporting somebody else, we coach them that they can support themselves so that we don't take on everything. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes from the work of David Emerald. It's the empowerment dynamic. But I feel for both of us, we've both right now in creator mode in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's something there that we're not saying that because we all everything, we're all in the victim rescuer persecutor thing. But in that creator role, when it's come through, it needs space. It needs space to think. It needs space just to lie, and just that's something about the summer as well, the height of summer. To just lie on the grass and look at the sky and let those ideas percolate in your head. And that's something I think that we both have that's coming up for us.
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of stopping you from talking, and I don't mean to be this, but I also feel like I want to say what an amazing achievement we have made with wisdom before we go on and talk about what we're each going to do. But with wisdom, starters, what, 2025?
Mm-hmm.
2025. And in a year, we've done, I totted it up this morning, 63, including this one, it'd be 64 videos. 64 videos, that's a lot. In 64 videos, we've had 20 conversations. We've had 13 of the most incredible guests in the somatic world. I mean, they have been phenomenal, and I will continue to share those conversations. I'm sure you'll continue to share them in your world as well, Gabby. But those conversations are people who have got such a huge amount of wisdom in those short conversations that we had. They were like about an hour in length, maybe a little bit more from time to time, but not often that long. But what they were sharing was so much. Was so much. There were little nuggets, like little phrases that they would share that would then stay with me, and that would then kind of, I'd pick up into my own life. And when I've listened to the conversations again, it's like when you reread a book, your mind kind of focuses in on another aspect of the words that they're saying. And I think that goes for everything that we've done together as well, without anybody else in the mix. There'll be things that if people rewatch or are new to this channel and have kind of stumbled upon it somehow in the YouTube world, and you're here and you think, oh, with wisdom, they seem to have stopped. Go back and listen to the back catalogue, because it's incredibly informative to you right now, I think, and to our listeners and watchers right now. And even if the book feels like it's beginning to close for the moment, you can still reread the pages. You can still connect with all those amazing people that we have had I think we've had a real privilege to listen to. You know, Paul's just jumped into my head. When we interviewed him, he just lost the publisher for his book. He was launching his book. Do you remember? He found another publisher and that book is going to be published. So, it's this sort of ups and downs of life. Yeah. I think, have been witnessing those with the people that we've been connecting with as well.
Yeah.
So I want to say, well done, Gabby.
Thank you, Sam. Well done.
I think we need to give each other a round of applause, because that was blooming good. Well, I'm going to give you a round of applause.
Yeah! And I think we need to just now name it. We are making a pause in With Wisdom. We were thinking if closing it completely, but I think we came to the conclusion that we want to just keep this pause, like you said, this time. I remember, well, I like to research things. Sometimes I don't know for what reason, but I'm always very curious person.
Well,
I was researching about all this, like, I think was the Debussy, so a musician that says that the music is made with the spaces in between the notes.
Yeah.
And there's you that you went to Japan. There's a Japanese, because now so many people have discovered all these Japanese concepts or words that are so beautiful, no? That englobes or since there's one that is called ma. I don't know how you pronounce it correctly, but it's again this idea, no? They have a philosophy through this ma, especially in architecture or in music, to leave all this empty space that you can really let the other elements lift in that space and experience and be present with that. So we are like taking a sacred pause in With Wisdom, but for allowing the other things that are like coming together, because there are other things in your life, in my life, that are coming together, and in my life that needs to come together to take care of the material things. But go along with the desires of my heart. And yeah, so that's kind of where we are at With Wisdom. We have been like trying the different configurations in the ways of cooperating. And at the moment we decided the wisest thing we can do is to take this sacred pause.
And I'm going back to what you said. It's you have been witnessing, people have been watching us thinking aloud, and you've been witnessing how creative people can make and change decisions and pathways, and that's okay. I think it's that's okay bit is really important, because sometimes we feel like when we set off on a path, we have to carry on, but actually you can always turn back. And you can always turn left or right, and I think we've kind of gone, at the moment, we've reached a point when Gabby might be going that way and I might be going that way. But wherever our paths are, and I said this to Gabby before we started recording, we've been connected for a long time. This is we're gonna, time is passing, and we've been connected for a number of years. We've done a number of different projects together. So we have come together, we've gone away, we've come together, we've gone away. And at the moment, we might go this way, but I have a sense that at some point our paths will converge again.
Mhm.
So there's a that, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
And that's with all of our relationships. I think in with all of our lives, sometimes people might mourn the loss of a family member or a friend that maybe they've got disconnected from, but actually that's okay.
Mhm.
So for me, there's a longer piece in my mind around that sometimes people think goodbye is a really hard word to say, but goodbye doesn't mean forever.
Mhm.
Goodbye just means for a moment. And
Mhm.
that moment might be, if in terms of a death, it might be forever, or in terms of a relationship, it might be for a period of time. And actually, I, having just lost my sister very recently, I never had the opportunity to say goodbye to her, but she's still with me and we still have
Mhm.
conversations
Mhm.
all the time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
even
Well,
in death, I don't think you say really goodbye.
no, and
Mm,
that's my experience while listening to you. Yeah, it's true. There's people in my life that are not physically here anymore, maybe because they die or maybe because we
mm,
really lost touch.
mm,
But the seeds or the relationship that's sown into my soil and in my ground, they take different forms, and that's, I think, the secret of eternity.
mm,
We wonder, or we have all this fear of death, the physical death, but actually we are always alive in the whole world, even if people
mm,
don't remember our name. All these seeds, and we are the soil and the ground of all
mm,
that came before us, no?
mm,
um so yeah, so I think if we see it like that, my dad died, like, I don't know how many years ago now, 33, 34 years, and I have a wonderful relationship nowadays with him. When he was alive and I was 15 years old, it was not the best part of our life because I was a teenager. At
yeah.
that point, I was quite a teenager because I have a quite strong character, and so he did. But through the years, my view to our history, our relationship, to try to see the human behind my dad role and all these things has changed.
Mm,
And I'm in communication, for example, with friends of my dad. And the other day, one of them, he found a note, and so they know that I'm keen of learning things or anecdotes or whatever they remember from my dad. And they sent me a note that my dad
lovely.
wrote to him. And for me, it was like my dad was talking to me because it said
That's
something
fabulous.
like that it was important to follow really your call and your heart. Something he never told me. He always told me I need to like be technology
Mm,
directed. So it was so beautiful. And on the other hand, saying goodbye or closing certain cycles of things allow for the newness to emerge, no? Or these pauses. So it doesn't mean that everything dissolves. It's just it becomes into another form, or it allows that this way of collaborating becomes in another stage instead of trying to force what
yeah,
it doesn't in the moment doesn't
yeah,
fit anymore, or fit not because of the concept but because of timing or energy. And it already happened to me in the past. No, I forced things. I also forced versions of myself that were not anymore. Yeah, because sometimes
absolutely. I think we
you
all do. We all do.
yeah, and then you just create frustration and suffering to yourself and others sometimes, no, with
Yes,
this forcing. So yeah, I'm very proud of ourselves for all the work we did, but also to really and honestly live in what we preach.
yes. I think that's really important as well, because we are both leaders in this world of embodiment and somatic coaching and somatic wisdom. And I think that is important that we say that
Hmm.
we have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
We walk the talk. So, Gabby, what's coming up for you that you're willing to share and happy to share at this point without, saying I'm going to do this and then feeling that you're having to do it because you said it out loud. Just some few
Well,
little things that are bubbling up for you.
yeah, at the moment I am very excited because, and it has been quite a challenge for me to do many things at the same time. I finished, well, I finished my book. in the sense that I send it to someone that it's also a writer and a poet and someone that I respect, and she also works in an editorial. So I finished my book, My Dance with God. It might come corrections, so that's one of the things is near to my heart, and I want to put the best energy I have to make it possible to come alive.
Mhm.
And the other thing is I'm feeling, and so was sharing with you before we record, that I feel that many things I have been like processing, integrating, and living through the years are coming together in a new offering of my own coaching world, which is Quietud Meandros. No, this like this. Uh, uh, the way I present myself to the world. So I launched a new webpage, so with images and words that feel more near to my heart right now. And I'm working in launching. So from September on, I will launch a workshop here in Mannheim, but also online.
Brilliant.
And it's gonna be called uh, it's a living process. It's gonna be called the journey in English, but in Spanish I like the word. It's la travesía. It's a very different. It's a
It's
word
a
people.
much nicer word than journey. Say it
Yeah,
again.
I like because la travesía for me it means I don't know because I didn't research the etymology, but it's mean like go through, and it sounds like I mean something that you take on that might not have you may have like a goal in your mind, but you are also like it for me it evokes like this openness to whatever the landscape it will show you, and this landscape will be the landscape of our bodies. We will use like our bodies as a guidance tool, but also
Mm,
I want to teach all what I have been learning, no, like being in a different relationship with myself through my body, not as a something or someone that I need to repair or that I need to heal or that I need to become someone to be able to go through this journey, but to know the someone that is going through this journey through my body, through my energy, to learn to talk to the landscape, like and that's why I have all this image like the Sherpas in the Himalayas.
yeah.
What the Sherpas do, and that's what I want to do in this process for people, is not that they don't, I mean, they don't do the journey for you. They just know how to read all the signals in the environment and in the landscape that they can teach you or facilitate you the communication with the landscape and with your own body that you can take on that mountain. And that's what I want to do. I have been sharing through the With Wisdom year also the ways I speak to life, no, in signals, synchronicities, and with invisible in my shamanic world. So that's all what I will bring into this journey, like qigong as a canvas, or a way of preparing the body and the being to this deep listening of the
Mm,
body, the feeling of the energy, also our somatic experiments, and I want to bring all my symbols, myth, storytelling, and way of rewriting your own journey into this process. So that's what I'm working on.
yeah,
And
it sounds brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing more
yeah,
about this.
so that's why as we spoke, I really need to concentrate my energy that I can like craft
Mm,
it. And besides, I'm searching for a job to complement because
yes,
life
of
needs
course. Yeah.
life needs a special combination. It's like my emotions. No, we spoke when you interview myself, like all this optimal formulation. No, the optimal formulation in the emulsions is you take the different phases. So, like for example, two phases, water and the oil, and you have a connecting element, and you find the right conditions like temperature, pH,
Yeah.
salinity, whatever, concentration, volume, that you have this beautiful emulsion and this
Mm.
beautiful way of dissolving one into another. And that's what I'm doing right now in my life.
This sounds absolutely fabulous. And as always, like so interesting. And I love the way that you're pulling on all the threads of your life into the next stage. And that's again something that I do think some people who may watch and have not thought of actually. The really basic things that we we are born and we die, and
Mm.
it's the living in between. And the living in between is key, but we don't have to discard things that we've done prior to where we are now. We bring the learning with us. We
Mm-hmm.
bring little tiny, tiny bits with us into the next stage,
Mm.
which is what, I can hear when you're sharing, is exactly what you're doing. That you're recognizing, seeing very clearly, and there's a letting go if there's anything. Maybe it's letting go in all things like regret, or maybe some anger, or whatever, guilt, some more of those maybe negative emotions that we kind of, our history and the way that we're brought up in societies that we live in kind of foist on us a little bit. And we, the shame for me definitely is one.
Shame for me is a
Yeah.
big one.
Yes, like we'll be there. And we're just letting that go, because actually that is like an anchor that is, so anchors are really good because they keep us moored and stable and secure, but sometimes it can drag us back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of those, you're kind of cutting some of that loose, and you're pulling up anchor. And when you pull up that anchor, you're bringing all the good things with you before you sail on to the next destination and drop anchor. But you're leaving some of those more negative emotions behind.
Yeah, or they are taking the right place. I
The
see
right place.
nowadays, I mean, each person, it's the metaphor or the image that helps me. I'm feeling that I'm so to put it in modern words and terms, I'm a community manager of myself. So
Nice. Love
I'm a
it.
community
Yes.
manager of
I
many
love it.
selves and all
So
these
that's a
things.
really lovely LinkedIn profile name.
And there are parts of me that are more full of shame and all these things, and now I'm like feeling like yeah, I'm just acknowledging the history of these parts and the right to exist, but they take the right place in
Yeah.
their seat of this journey and say,
Mm,
yeah, thank you very much for all the information about I should be careful or protect myself or whatever.
mm,
But now I'm taking the lead of my journey, not dismissing all these other parts, but becoming a better community manager or a leader. No, we speak
nice.
about
I
all
like
this.
it.
That's leadership, I think. No, leadership for me is not about saying, "Oh, I just want this kind of members of my team." If with what I have, because sometimes, yeah, you choose the people, but life comes. People might also change or be challenged due to life circumstances, and that's
Mm,
what you have. And
mm,
the big question for a leader is, with what you have, how can you find the best or take the best of each of them or create the condition that all these different members or
mm,
parts of a team bring coherence and work together, no? And I think we
mm.
do it in a team where we work in a project, but also with ourselves, no?
Yeah, definitely. Love it.
And
So
you, Stan,
exciting.
and now
And me. So I've also had a book that's been ongoing, and it's going to be published in September. My book is called A Year Beneath Sun and Sky, Seasonal Wellbeing Infused with Sri Lankan Spice. And the premise of the book is very much a season, I'm taking each season, but in I have got a bit of memoir. I have, I use my coaching methodology, but my change flywheel. And I'm inviting my readers to be curious about the season in terms of color,
mm-hmm.
be courageous about the season in the way they use the light, to be creative in the season with how they use their hands, and to be community minded and focus on celebrations and gatherings that happen in the particular season. I'm going through the 5 seasons actually. I brought late summer in, not just autumn, spring, summer, and winter. Um, and then the change piece, I've just given just a few little provocations and questions to ask yourself if you feel out of sync, if you feel out of sorts. Say maybe you feel a bit more like winter in the middle of summer. What might you do to support yourself at that point?
Mm.
And that's definitely the kind of structure, but the theme very much is about home and belonging as well. So I've briefly kind of, not like in any heavy way, but I do talk about what it's like to be a second generation immigrant living in the Western world, being somebody who's brown and not white, and what that feels like, and how, I would say that I'm firstly a Londoner. Because I've always lived in London. I'm a Londoner, I'm British, I also have Sri Lankan heritage. So I talk about that. And in the community piece, I have interviewed first and second generation immigrants of Sri Lankan heritage who now make England their home, to talk to them about what their favourite seasons are, what it's felt like, where, a little bit of their history, and a favourite recipe that they would like to share as something that they feel makes them feel home, and home in all of the widest sense of the word of home. Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. That's coming out in September. So I've just booked a venue for my book launch. And as this year has progressed, I also have done a little bit more teaching. So I'm a coach and a coach mentor and coach trainer. And trainer is not the same as teaching. I've done a bit of teaching, actually, of bookbinding, which I've really enjoyed. And I've enjoyed that teaching element of SAM because that's part of my background. I trained as a teacher 14 years ago. So there's something there that's coming out again. But the community piece has been a big thing for me over this last year. And inspiring local communities. So I work with a charity, which is an agroecological farm called Grow. And I absolutely love the work that they do. It's very much about using the land, working with the seasons, working with what the community wants and needs. So it's very hyper-localized. Yeah, and I think that's something that I appreciate. And it's kind of a harkening back to my head teacher days when I was, I had a community of the school and the parents of that hyper-local kind of space. So there's the work that I'm doing with them, and the work that I'm doing in terms of my own local community. Again, it's all linked to the environment and seasons, and it's all the same themes. There's nothing like, that's a brand new thing that's just dropped into Sam's life. Things like increasing biodiversity in our local park. Simple, small things, but bringing people together. And I think I want to lean into, whilst I'm in this particular phase of my life, I want to lean into that part of Sam that actually is pretty good at chatting to people on the street and saying, oh, do you know this? And do you know, so connecting people. We did a litter pick recently in my local park on Sunday, just for an hour. And a family scooted by. There was a little girl on a scooter. Her brother was in the buggy. The father was pushing the buggy. The brother could speak. And he said, that's the father walked up. He said, what are we going to say? Because I had a litter picker in one hand and a bag in the other. And she said, thank you so much. And I said, that's lovely. Maybe you can join the next one, because we had quite a lot of children in the group doing this. And the father said, yeah, absolutely. Because we water our trees opposite our house. So these are trees on the main road. Yeah. But they're little small trees, and they take the time every week to go and water those trees. I said, you know what, that is so wonderful, because that is exactly what our environment, our local area really needs. And so it's those little kind of conversations that I'm happy to have. Actually, I've now roped him into the group. That's the next generation. So I think it's the work I want to do for future generations, which goes back to very much. So I'm getting quite tearful now. My work as a teacher, because my work as a teacher is supporting future generations have a better life. Yeah. So I want this world, which I absolutely love, to be experienced by future generations. I'm just going to pause there, because I actually really feel that is really important to me. And I think that part of the work that we've done this year is a slice of history. And I said this in my book as well. I think it's a slice of history that I've written about, because climate change is here. Yeah. It is not normal to have 40-degree heat in the continent
Yeah,
all the
climate
time.
change and polycrisis, no, the whole
Yeah, the
polycrisis we have
polycrisis.
in the
Yeah.
world. We have been talking about seasons, but we now every one of us can see that although there's still like seasons, but it's not like a steady state kind of seasons. No, it's peaks of heat in the temperatures, but there's also a peak of heat in, I don't know, politics and all the global
Mm.
scenario, right? So yeah,
So,
and we are moved by the same thing or seeing similar things. No, for me
mm,
it's so important. I have done all what I done, starting by my son, to think, okay, so I left my job and I had done all this personal work because I wanted to have a better relationship with myself, with my son, and with the world, because I
mm,
was so overwhelmed, so burnout, so
mm,
out of myself, that I was creating a lot of suffering for myself and for the others. And it might seem some small thing, like you said, but it's where we start, no? And then you
mm,
can spiral things, and then you can move many things. Or for me, one of the gifts of this journey has been poetry, books, but also relationships like you, with you. And it's, yeah, it's my wish to support the new generations. For me, it's so important that my son witness my way of weaving challenges and live through them, to give him the skills. And I am sure and convinced that that percolates to his environment.
definitely.
And also, I want to be, not because I think I'm important, but if I can inspire someone of my age or older than me, that we take more serious our role as adults and the
And
responsibility.
guardians of this world. We
Yeah,
are guardians of this world.
like we were talking with Lisa, no? So I think we all have a responsibility, and we need to start, even if it seems
Mm,
small.
mm,
And thank you very much, Sam, for what you are doing for the world, because it's time for that. And that's what we have witnessed this year, no? It's
yeah.
time more than ever.
And I think that bit about, it's small steps. This is small steps in the world of YouTube. 63 videos is nothing. There's a billion videos out there, but they are small steps that we have chosen to take, and we have put the time and effort into to do this because it might change somebody else's perspective
Mm-hmm.
and enrich their lives. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing, is about enriching lives. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what I want, very much so. You don't mind, I just want to read the dedication of my book. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a two bits that you think, no, but clearly to my sister, because she's very, very special to me. So I said, to my darling sister Melinda, who was ever curious about everyone and everything. So I think that curiosity that you have in your scientific brain, the curiosity that I have in the way that I connect with, in different ways, that curious piece, I think, is key. To the immigrants who make the UK their home, past, present, and future. Because honestly, every single person who crossed this shore from the back days, the years gone by, have brought new knowledge, new experiences, new ideas, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that are amazing. Like you have in your journey from Venezuela to Germany, you have brought so much richness into the world that you live in now. And then to all, and this is the message for everybody: find home in every season, root, flourish, and grow. Be curious about your neighbour. Be courageous and say hello. Be creative and make together. Be in community, celebrate and share gifts of food. Be the change that this world needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
And those are that's my big message to the world. That last bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually just being able to say hello to your neighbour that you've lived next door to or nearby for years and years and years is the first step into kind of creating a better future for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. So is it time to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Yeah, goodbye for now.
Thank you, Gabby. I love our chats, and I think I'm going to have a bit of a gap. So we'll have to find another way to do this, which may not necessarily be on YouTube. But we will clearly be connected, but it's like not in this way. But as I say, our paths may be going like that, but I'm sure they'll come like this. And the channel will be here. So all the videos are still here for people to go back and have a watch, for me to go back and watch in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, everybody that has been accompanying us through the journey of with wisdom. And who knows, it's a sacred pause, so we will see or feel when it's the right time and in which form is the right time. So yeah,
Absolutely. So we're both off to harvest, really, as we're coming up into late summer, beginning of August. Late summer's coming very, very soon. So is it Lamas? This is the time to harvest. So this is an opportunity for you also to harvest. What's going well in your life? Yeah. What's going well right now? What is maybe what's burnt out and burnt away and needs just to use the ash to fertilize the next idea. That ash is going to be there to fertilize the next thing that grows. So, keep all of that in mind. When we're signing off, I think we'll have to do this together. So should we try and do it together?
what do you want to do
we're going to
together?
say,
To
we're
say
going to say,
goodbye?
we're going to practice, everybody, with wisdom, embodying energy, embracing seasons. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
With
With
wisdom,
wisdom,
embodying
embodying
energy,
energy,
embracing
embracing
seasons.
seasons. Bye
Thank you very
bye.
much. Bye bye for
Bye.
now. Ciao.